The most expensive thing you will ever own cost you nothing to buy. You got it for free at 22 and threw it away without knowing. It was called time. Not the time you spent working, not the time you spent sleeping, the time your money didn't have to work, the time it could sit somewhere and multiply while you were doing something else entirely. You didn't know you were throwing it away. Nobody told you. That's the thing about the most expensive mistakes. They feel like nothing when you make them. You're 22, you just got your first real job. The paycheck clears on Thursday. You have $300 left over after rent and food and the car payment. Your coworker tells you about his brokerage account. You nod. You think about it for 2 weeks, then you don't. The money goes into your checking account instead. You spend it on things you don't remember buying. That $300 disappears. It happens again the next month, and the next. Here's what you didn't know. If you had moved that $300 into an index fund, a single basket of stocks that mirrors the entire market, tracking the S&P 500 with an average annual return of approximately 10% before inflation. Source: Morningstar Historical Returns 2024. That money would not have stayed $300. It would have grown, not by 10% on the original amount, by 10% on everything it had already grown into. Compound interest. The mechanism is simple. The effect is not. You're 25 now. 3 years have passed. You still have $300 left over. You still don't invest it. You're thinking about it differently now. You have a girlfriend. You're thinking about a ring. You're thinking about a wedding. The $300 stays in your checking account. It buys dinners you don't remember. It buys drinks with friends who you've already forgotten half of. That money evaporates again, month after month. If you had started at 22 with that $300, it would be $14,247 by the time you're 25. Not because you earned 14 times your money, because your money earned money. Your money's money earned more money. The growth accelerates, the compounding deepens. But you didn't start, so at 25 you still have zero. You're not behind by 14,247. You're behind by 14,247 plus everything that money would have earned for the next 25 years of your life. You're 30. You have a kid now, maybe two. The wedding happened, the house happened, the car payment is still there, maybe a second one. Your parents tell you it's too late to start investing. You're too far behind. You should focus on the kids. You should focus on the mortgage. You nod. You believe them. You're exhausted. The $300 doesn't exist anymore. You're making more money than you did at 22, but somehow there's less left over. That's how it works. The more you make, the more you spend. The more you spend, the more you need to make. You're on a treadmill, and the speed keeps increasing. If you had started at 22, your account would have $89,000 by now. That's not your money anymore. That's your money's money. That's the money your money earned while you were changing diapers and paying for school supplies and driving to soccer practice. But you didn't start, so at 30, you decide to start now. You're going to catch up. You're going to invest $300 a month starting today. You feel good about the decision. You feel responsible. You tell yourself that starting at 30 is still early. You tell yourself you have 35 years until retirement. You're 35. The kids are in school now. You have more time. You have more money. You could increase your investment to $400 a month. You think about it. You don't do it. Life is more stable now, but stability has its own costs. There's the summer camp, there's the braces, there's the car that needs a new transmission. Your friend at work just got promoted. He's making $30,000 more than you. He's talking about buying a second house. You're thinking about how you're going to pay for college. The $300 a month you started at 30 is still there. It's becoming something, but it's not enough to feel like it matters. If you had started at 22, your account would have $247,000 by now. That's the number that should haunt you. Not because you're poor, because you're watching what time does when you give it to your money instead of to your bills. But you didn't start at 22. You started at 30. So at 35, you have $18,900. You're 5 years into investing. You feel like you're doing something. You're not. You're paying the price for waiting. You're 40. Your oldest is in high school. You're making good money now. You could be investing $500 a month. You could be aggressive. You could be doubling down on everything you missed. Instead, you're thinking about college funds. You're thinking about whether your 401k is enough. You're thinking about whether you should have started earlier. You tell yourself it's too late to change anything now. You're already committed to the path you're on, so you keep going. The $300 a month becomes $400. You feel like you're catching up. You're not. If you had started at 22, your account would have $518,000. If you had started at 30, it would have $67,000. You started at 30. You're at 40 now. Your account has $38,000. You're 10 years into investing, and you have less than half of what you would have if you just started 8 years earlier. The math is not in your favor. The math has never been in your favor. The math was against you the moment you said no to that $300 at 22. You're 45. Your kids are almost done with school. You're thinking about retirement now, not as something distant, as something that's actually coming. You do the math. You realize you need more. You increase your investment to $600 a month. You feel the pressure. You feel like you're running out of time. You are, but not because you're 45, because you waited until you were 45 to run. If you had started at 22, your account would have $847,000. You started at 30. Your account would have $156,000 if you'd been consistent. You started at 30 and you've been investing for 15 years now. Your account has $82,000. You're not going to catch up. The gap is not a number. The gap is time. Time is the only thing you cannot buy back. Source: compound interest calculation based on S&P 500 average annual return of 10%. 2024. You're 50. You have 5 to 10 years until you think you need to retire. Maybe longer. You don't know. Nobody knows. You do the math one more time. You realize you need $1.46 million to retire comfortably, assuming you spend $55,000 a year and live another 30 years. Source: Northwestern Mutual Planning Study 2026. You have $147,000. You're not going to get there. You know it. You feel it in your chest at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep. If you had started at 22, you would have $147,000 by now. You would have had to do nothing but move $300 a month into an index fund and forget about it. You would have had to make no other decisions. You would have had to take no risk beyond the normal risk of the market. You would have been fine. You would have been better than fine. You would have been free. But you didn't start at 22. You started at 30. Or you didn't start at 30, you started at 40, or you didn't start at 40. You're 50 now, and you're starting today. The question is not whether you should have started earlier. You should have. The question is whether you're going to let the next 5 years look like the last 5 years, or whether you're going to do something different. Here's what nobody tells you about compound interest. It's not a reward for the disciplined. It's a punishment for the late. The math doesn't care about your reasons. It doesn't care that you had a car payment at 22. It doesn't care that you had a wedding at 28. It doesn't care that you had kids at 32. The math only cares about time. The math only cares about when you started. The car payment, you paid it off. It's gone now. The wedding, it's a memory now. The kids, they're almost grown. All the things you spent the money on instead of investing it, all the things that felt so urgent and so important, they're all gone now. But the time is still gone. The time is the only thing that doesn't come back. There's a version of you at 22 who made a different choice. He moved that $300 into an index fund. He didn't think about it. He didn't try to time the market. He didn't wait for the right moment. He just did it. And then he did it again the next month and the next. For 28 years, he didn't get rich. He didn't beat the market. He didn't do anything special. He just gave his money time to work. And at 50, he has $147,000. He doesn't have to work anymore. He can choose to work. He can choose to do something else. He has options. You're not that version. You're the version who waited. You're the version who had good reasons. You're the version who is 50 now and realizing that the reasons don't matter. What matters is that you're 50. What matters is that you still have time, but not much. What matters is that every month you don't invest is a month you can never get back. Save this video. Not for yourself. You already know what you should have done. Save it for someone who is 22 right now. Save it for someone who has $300 left over at the end of the month and is thinking about what to do with it. Save it for someone who still has time. Because time is the only thing that matters. Time is the only thing you can't buy back. And at 22, you have so much of it that you think it's worthless. You're wrong. It's the most valuable thing you will ever own. The next video covers how to actually start investing, which account to open, which fund to buy, and how to set it up so you never have to think about it again. If what you saw here made sense, what comes next is how you make it automatic, because automatic is the only way to guarantee you don't wait another year.